welcome to our special presentation, Legends Predictor Virat Summer. The Indian captain Virat Kohli was pretty much the one-man show for India in England earlier this summer. As summer arrives down under, legends predict Virat Kohli will continue his run-scoring spree. I caught up with some of them on the sidelines of the T10 League who spoke candidly on India's biggest challenges. India is taking on Australia in a big series down under. Would you think that it'll be a bigger test for the Indian batsmen or the Indian bowlers?
I think for Indian bowlers, because to start off with, there are a couple of drop-in pitches, I think at Adelaide and in Melbourne. So it's not they're not bouncy tracks anymore. Brisbane will be a little bit of bounce. And I think at Perth, they're playing in a new stadium. So I don't know what sort of pitch they have there. But I think obviously, whenever India, Pakistan or teams from subcontinent toured Australia, the batsmen also struggle. But I think now with the little batting tracks, the Indian batting always has been very, very consistent, and especially Virat Kohli, leading from the front as a batsman, as a captain. It's the bowlers I worry about in Australia. It's the length where they bowl at, and especially when the kookaburra gets old after 20-25 overs, that's where Australians take advantage.
In terms of the bowling unit that India has, you've seen most of them in the IPL. Who do you think will be the X factor in the series?
I haven't seen the squad yet, so I don't know who's there, but I remember Shami, Bumrah and this young guy, Bhuvi. But I've seen in Australia, even Anderson struggles, because if you are 130-35 pace, because that ball doesn't swing. SG swings and then it reverse swings. Duke swings in England all day long, normal swing. But in Australia, if you don't have pace, you probably will struggle. But you never know. It's a new Australian side. It's not the same Australian side we've seen in last 30 years. It's new. They're under pressure. They just got hammered by Pakistan here, and then they just got hammered by South Africa in Australia. So India definitely have an edge there.
Talking about pressure, do you think that this Indian team is performing well, better than the past Indian teams because they have learned to handle pressure?
It's difficult to compare. It's impossible to compare from era to era. Indians produce so many great cricketers over the years. I've played against all of them. So difficult to compare, but there'll be a big test for them. With this young Indian side, if they want to prove to the world that they are one of the best sides in the world, this is the tour.
And do you think that this will also define Virat Kohli's captaincy? He's been a great player, but winning against Australia in Australia?
Yeah, he's got the best chance. Inexperienced, young Aussie side. Go all out. And of course, if they get early wickets, that's where the struggle is for bowlers. I just worry about bowlers from India, Pakistan when they go there. Sometimes they get excited with the bounce in the pitches, especially as Brisbane. But that's what Australians want. So idea is to pitch it up. Don't bowl the short of a length delivery because they'll be expecting that.
शाहिद, क्योंकि आपने सारे फॉर्मेट्स खेला है, क्या अभी भी आप कहेंगे कि टेस्ट क्रिकेट इज द सुप्रीम? अगर है तो इस वक्त सबसे बड़ी राइवलरी कौन सी है टेस्ट क्रिकेट में?
मेरे ख्याल में टेस्ट क्रिकेट नो डाउट इस वक्त सुप्रीम है, जिस तरह आपने कहा. दूसरा ये है कि जैसे एशेस का सीरीज होती है बिटवीन इंडिया, ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड इंग्लैंड, इसी तरह की सीरीज़ एक पाकिस्तान और इंडिया के बीच में अगर हो जाए तो मेरे ख्याल में एशेज सीरीज़ बिल्कुल भी बराबर नहीं आ पाएगी. ये बहुत बड़ी सीरीज़ होगी. पाकिस्तान इंडिया 5 टेस्ट मैचेस, होम अवे जिस तरह भी हो, आई थिंक मैं समझता हूँ कि वो सीरीज़ बहुत बड़ी सीरीज़ होगी.
आप मिस करते हैं वैसे राइवलरी को?
होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल होना चाहिए. जैसे अभी एशिया कप के अंदर पाकिस्तान इंडिया के मैचेस हुए, बहुत लोगों ने देखा, बहुतों ने एंजॉय की. इवन के मुझे बहुत कम टाइम मिलता पूरा मैच देखने के लिए, लेकिन एशिया कप के मैंने पूरा मैच टीवी पे बैठ के देखा.
बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं कि इंडिया पाकिस्तान को अब रिप्लेस किया है इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने. इसके बारे में आपको क्या कहना है?
देखिए, इंडियन क्रिकेट मैं ये समझता हूँ कि आफ्टर आईपीएल बहुत चेंज हुई है. बहुत टैलेंट आया है, बहुत यंग. इवन के इंडिया अपनी ए टीम भी बना सकती है, इतना टैलेंट है इंडिया के पास इस वक्त, जो कि एक बहुत अच्छी साइड है. जितनी भी लीग क्रिकेट, इवन के पीएसएल पाकिस्तान की अगर हुई है तो उसके बाद से 3-4 वो प्लेयर आए हैं जो इस वक्त पाकिस्तान टीम की बैकबोन बने हुए हैं. तो लीग क्रिकेट कराने से इंडिया को बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ. और जिस तरह ग्राउंड भरते, एक नया बच्चा जब उस फुल प्रेशर के अंदर, बड़े क्राउड के अंदर खेलता है, जब वो नेशनल टीम में आता है तो उसको वो प्रेशर नहीं लगता, इसलिए कि उस चीज़ का यूज टू होता है वो. तो आई थिंक मैं समझता हूँ कि आईपीएल से इंडियन क्रिकेट को बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ायदा हुआ.
आपको लगता है ये जो प्रेशर के बारे में आपने कहा, इसके लिए इंडिया के पास आज इतने सारे क्रिकेटर्स हैं, खासतौर की कैप्टन विराट कोहली, जिनको प्रेशर हैंडल करना बहुत अच्छी तरह से आता है?
वही मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि प्रेशर के अंदर जब आप पले बड़े हुए होते हो तो प्रेशर नहीं होता, और इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट इज ऑल अबाउट प्रेशर, हाउ टू हैंडल प्रेशर, पैनिक सिचुएशन में पैनिक नहीं होना. तो आई थिंक ये वो सारी चीज़ें हैं जो क्रिकेटर को एक क्रिकेटर बनाती है.
एंड विराट कोहली के कप्तानी में आपको लगता है कि ये पहली बार इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया में टेस्ट सीरीज जीत सकती है?
देखिए, जिस तरह एज अ प्लेयर तो विराट कोहली नो डाउट मेरा भी फेवरेट है, लेकिन एज अ कैप्टन उसको अपने आप को मनाना पड़ेगा. इंग्लैंड, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, मतलब सब कॉन्टिनेंट से निकल के जीतना पड़ेगा. आई थिंक ये धोनी की मिसाल आपके सामने, धोनी ने अपने आप को साबित किया. तो इसी तरह विराट कोहली को एज अ प्लेयर तो सब जानते हैं, सब मानते हैं उसको, लेकिन एज अ कैप्टन उसके पास अभी टाइम है, वो अपने आप को कितना इम्प्रूव कर सकता है वो उसके ऊपर है.
एक आखिरी सवाल, बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में बॉलरों के लिए सबसे बड़ा टेस्ट रहेगा. विराट कोहली ने कहा है कि उनके बैट्समैन को अच्छा करना चाहिए क्योंकि इंग्लैंड में इंडिया ने अच्छा नहीं कर पाया है. तो आपको क्या लगता है, whether it's batting or the bowling, which will face the biggest test?
मेरे ख्याल में लास्ट अगर आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया की पिचेस देखें, मैं जो देख रहा हूँ 7, 8, 9 साल से ऑस्ट्रेलिया की वो पिचेस नहीं रही जो होती थी. अब बहुत अच्छी बैटिंग विकटें होती हैं उनकी, बॉलर्स को भी हेल्प मिलती है, बाउंस होता है. इवन के पर्थ के ऊपर, पर्थ इज टोटली डिफरेंट पिच होता है, थोड़ा सा वो डिपेंड करता है कैसा वो बनाते हैं, लेकिन मेरे ख्याल में बॉलर्स को भी हेल्प मिलेगी और बैट्समैन भी ठीक ठाक छक्के चौके मार सकते हैं इवन टेस्ट में.
Well, you will be in Australia playing the Big Bash around the time the Indian cricket team will also be playing a series there. How difficult would you think this time around it will be for India, and what will be the biggest challenge for them?
Look, Australia's very good in their own conditions historically, I think, but what they are at the moment is they're a wounded team. They've obviously been through a lot in the last 12 to 18 months. They've lost a couple of their best players as well, and I think they probably don't have the same aura about them and self-belief about them at the moment. It can come back quickly, so you know they've just got to find that. But what I would say is that Virat Kohli's got his Indian team absolutely flying at the moment, and he's leading from the front and by example, and he won't be intimidated by the challenge of taking his Indian team to Australia and trying to come away with the win. So look, I think it's going to be a tough series. I think it'll be a close series. I think from India's point of view, they've just got to make sure they get enough runs. I think they've got the bowling attack to take 20 wickets. They've just got to make sure they get enough runs, and I'm sure they will.
The Australians are vouching for elite honesty. Do you think that they will play that brand of cricket? They'll be meek, they will be sober, or they will be Aussies?
Well, I don't really know what elite honesty is, to be honest. So I'm not sure. I think if we could get a bit of a definition around what that means, then we'll be able to make an assessment. But look, I think what you have to do is you have to play the game in your own way, and you got to play it how you like to be as a person. It's got to be authentic. So, I think there's some great people within that setup, and if they're given the opportunity, then I'm sure they'd like to play the game like that. But it'll be interesting because pressure does funny things to people as well, and it'll determine.
Would you say for the first time in many years, Australians are downplaying it and not talking up a series? We haven't heard a 5-0 or a 4-0 series prediction from Glenn McGrath yet.
Well, I think there's a whole perception around what's happened in Australian cricket in the recent past, and I think what they're crying out for now is probably a group of people who are able to re-engage the public and to allow the public to fall back in love with the game. How they go about that for Australians, I'm not totally sure, but I don't know if they'll be coming out with any big statements in the next little while. I think they'd like to let their cricket do the talking and make sure that they build some of that faith back into Australia cricket from the public.
Talking a little bit about India, Virat Kohli really has been the star for India, the star of the show in England and throughout the year. Do you see that other players, rally around him in this series and make bigger contributions?
Yeah, look, Virat is just an incredible cricketer, and what he's done in the recent past is not a form thing. That is just how good the guy is, and his statistics are absolutely phenomenal, and he's in that very top echelon of cricketers that ever played the game. What that can do sometimes to teams is that they then feel pressure to be able to keep up with someone's standard, which is so high, but it can also drag other people along and allow them to perform better than maybe what their skill level is. What India has is a very, very talented group of cricketers, and they've got a leader who has taken the game on. He's first over the wall every time. He's happy to lead from the front, and as long as they can go with them and stick with them, then I think that Indian team could be something pretty special, and they just need to ensure they get used to those conditions pretty quickly, because it is different.
Right, and who would be the X factor in the series, you think?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I think, for Australia, they've obviously got some very, very good fast bowlers. Nathan Lyon has been exceptional for them as well. I think their bowling attack's really sound. Their batting is where they're a little bit weak, and hence they've lost two of their most important batters out of that lineup. So, and I'd say maybe a little bit of leadership too. It's just that self-belief under pressure. So, from their point of view, I'd say you've got Stark and Hazelwood, and Nathan Lyon will be the big threats for them. And I can't go past Virat Kohli if he touches the levels that he's touched in the last little while, then they'll get plenty of runs, and they've got the bowling attack that can take 20 wickets.
My last question, Kevin Peterson tweeted some time back that, Virat Kohli right now is the biggest superstar in cricket and there is no one bigger than him. Do you think that cricket is lacking characters, and your generation was perhaps the last that threw up so many characters, and hence, the love for the game grew, and right now we don't see as many characters around?
Oh, look, I don't know. I think it's the era that you're operating in at the time, and the game has changed immensely in the last 10 years. It's become a truly global game, and we've got so many different products that we take into the market. We're introducing a lot of fan engagement with the female side of the population as well. We've seen a lot more females coming along and watching these shortened versions of the game because it's fun, it's entertainment, and it's a big show every time. I think you're getting a lot of kids involved as well, and look, there is superstars who are being followed all around the world, and I think the game's in incredible health from that point of view. The correction of, player behaviour as well is really important at the moment, and we are role models to young kids, and we need to, whether we like it or not, you've got to take that responsibility on. We're involved in a global game, and you need to ensure that you are carrying yourself appropriately. And I'm really happy with the way that the game sits at the moment, and I think we have got some truly, historically, will be some of the greatest players we've ever seen.
Everyone wants to emulate you and your good friend Virat Kohli, who's right now in Australia, is going to be playing a big series. Do you think that he is going to be the X factor for India down under this summer?
He will be the X factor if he comes and play the T10. That I can say will be the X factor for India cricket. So if he comes and play the T10, what could possibly go wrong? But he's the big name for India anyway. So he's the number one for India. So wish them all the best in South Africa. We'll see
Not
what
South
happens.
Africa, Australia.
Oh, in Australia, sorry.
Yeah. But India has never won a series in 70 years. Do you think that they can cross the finish line this time around?
I mean, they have been playing good cricket, to be honest with you. And, once you have that sort of team commodity, which they have right now going for them, but regardless what team Australia put out there, it's always going to be tough to beat Australia at home. And, it's a chance for India to actually, grab a series win, for such a long time, or maybe for the first time. This is maybe the perfect opportunity for that.
Chris Gale says it is the perfect opportunity, but the Australians are a wounded team, and the Indians will know beating Australia in Australia will be a very tall task. Time for a very tiny break on the show. More on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our special presentation, Legends Predict a Virat Summer. India will once again start a test series with little practice under their belt. In England, the lack of practice did matter. However, in Australia, they have already played a T20 series. Will that be good enough?
It's about adjusting to the conditions as quickly as possible. When we won the 92 World Cup, we were the first side to land in Australia, and that was about a month and a half before any other team arrived. And precisely because we wanted to get used to the bouncy conditions, bouncy pitches. And so India's challenge really will be from bowling point of view. I think the batting is solid, and they'll adjust to the extra bit of bounce and carry that the bowlers will have. But it's the Indian bowling that needs to come to grips with the extra bit of bounce, because for a fast bowler, bowling on those seaming tracks or bouncy tracks can be a bit of a challenge and a tricky period, because you want to hit the lane, you want to bowl quick, because it facilitates you to do that. And so at times you bowl short. And so the likes of Khalil, for example, who was on the shorter side and was backed, it's that part that they need to do better.
Interesting you say that, because Virat Kohli, ahead of departure, said that they are sorted with their bowling. The batsmen are the ones who need to stand up because they didn't perform in England.
No, my experience of Australia is that obviously there's a lot of pressure on batting also, and we didn't have a world-class batting lineup, whilst India had. So there's that advantage. So I'm expecting them to adjust more, and straight away you saw the glimpses where Dhawan was extremely confident, and then there was contributions from Karthik as well. It's the bowling, I think, the fast bowling that needs to just get the line and length right.
The Australians have now come up with this word called elite honesty. How much elite honesty do you think will come forth from Australia? And is it a bit odd if Australians talk about elite honesty?
Yeah. I mean, it's become a pun. I mean, it's not being taken seriously at all because they need to win matches.
We heard brain fade from there, but now we are hearing elite honesty.
It's just a term that they use to just hide their performances or whatever it is. But I think they need to perform on the field, not worry about doing away with their natural character, which is to be attacking. I think this will make them a little meek, and this is so un-Australian-like. You've got to be aggressive if you're an Australian. I think they need to just fall back on that mantra, which is to play hard and win matches.
And Virat Kohli said that he's not going to indulge in sledging. Can that man keep quiet? What is your take on that?
It's very difficult to alter your DNA within a space of about 15, 20 days or 1 month. I think my advice to Virat Kohli will be to just express himself, be himself. And obviously he plays cricket within the parameters, and that is what is expected of Indian captain also.
Rashid, Team India is touring Australia right now. What kind of challenges do you see the Indian bowlers facing down under at this time of the year?
I think India team is like, they grow up really well, and I think the performance they are doing, especially they did in South Africa, in England, they beaten in ODIs and T20s as well, and then I think the talent they have in both departments. Before I think they were missing the bowling department, they were not doing well, but right now they have got the number one bowler. Just Bumrah is there, Bowyer is there, Khalil, I think Chahal, Kuldeep, they all have, and I think they have the best side and they have the best opportunity to beat Australia in Australia.
You seem to have a very special rapport or relationship with Indian captain Virat Kohli. Is it also professional, whereby you kind of exchange a lot of professional information, tactics?
We are like, I think the first time I met him, I think in first IPL was, the way he talked with me was something very special for me, and it wasn't something that what he was doing in the ground. It's always something different, but when he comes out of the field, it feels like you totally a different person. And he has, like, we met in the last time, he has supported me, and he has like his motivation and his few words gives you lots of energy and lots of motivation. So he's a good guy, and I think very someone who is a fighter, great fighter, and he never feel losing. He never accept losing. He always try his best, especially in the fitness department. I think he has totally changed that shape of the boys in each and every team, not only in India but internationally. I think
you draw a lot of motivation from that.
Exactly, I've seen him, the way he has worked hard and the way he has done his fitness. It always gives us motivation, and also to the each and everyone that we should follow him, we should do this. And I think it just totally changed the shape of the boys in their fitness. I think they have improved their fitness a lot since they have seen Virat, how he has done work hard and how he has been performing. So I think he cleared the message that the more you fit, I think the better you will perform. And
Virat Kohli is not just a motivation to players around the globe, but to his own team members as well. Perhaps they will try to emulate Virat's feat and rally around him during their massive challenge down under. That's all we could pack into this edition of the show. Thanks for watching.